Managing multifamily real estate in Washington, D.C. involves overseeing housing for a dense, highly specialized, and diverse tenant population. This line graph plots D.C.'s multifamily delinquency rates against the national average. You can see a sharp spike throughout 2024 and 2025. As unpaid rents strained relationships and revenues dropped, multifamily owners faced rising default and foreclosure rates. To correct this trend, the D.C. City Council passed a legislative reform passage in late 2025. Those laws, collectively known as the D.C. Rental Act, took effect on January 1, 2026. The legislation updates protective orders, court procedures, and evictions, shifting legal requirements for property owners. Managers using pre-2026 procedures for evictions and notices will find their filings dismissed by the court. Managing D.C. properties now requires navigating specific new rules, where procedural errors result in court-ordered delays and lost possession rights. The district's tenant base ranges from local residents and politicians to foreign diplomats. Operating legally here requires baseline adherence to local statutes, beginning with the D.C. Human Rights Act. This dashboard shows the Human Rights Act's complexity. Managers must account for 18 protected traits, like income source and political affiliation. Additionally, factor in RAD's rent control limits using a consumer price index formula. Finally, TOPA gives renters a window to buy first. The 2026 Rental Act introduces new procedural requirements that overlap with these existing operational baselines. A property manager's daily workflow now requires integrating pre-existing D.C. laws with the specific filing and notice windows established in 2026. The most immediate operational impact of the 2026 Act is the shift in eviction and lease violation notice timelines. This flowchart illustrates the shift. Pre-2026, delivering a lease violation notice followed a linear path. The 2026 Rental Act segments this timeline with mandatory 10- and 30-day delay blocks. Also, a valid 30-day notice must specify exactly what actions the tenant must take. The tenant then has a full 30 days to correct the violation before any further legal action can be initiated. Even if the notice is drafted accurately, a specific administrative requirement can still invalidate the filing. This diagram maps the 5-day rule. After serving a notice to vacate, managers must serve a copy to the rent administrator within exactly 5 days. Failing to file with RAD within this window voids the eviction timeline, forcing the process to start over. The exception to this filing rule is for non-payment of rent cases brought to the Superior Court, provided the right to notice was waived in the lease. Under the 2026 Act, a flawlessly served notice is legally ineffective if the manager fails the 5-day administrative routing test. Beyond paperwork, managers must also navigate updated procedures within the judicial system. The 2026 Act altered Superior Court protective orders, and the courts are currently interpreting these changes in real time. The legislation also defines the specific timelines required to execute a public safety eviction. D.C. Code 42-3505.01 limits evictions to 10 statutory reasons, like non-payment, illegal acts, or personal occupancy. Foreclosure and lease expiration are not legal grounds for eviction in the District of Columbia. The tenant's rights and lease terms remain the same. In all cases other than non-payment of rent, the judicial process, including hearings at the Office of Administrative Hearings, is required. Traditional vacate strategies based on lease expiration or changes in ownership are now direct violations of D.C. law, exposing the asset owner to legal and financial risk. This blueprint illustrates unifying these legal changes into a structured compliance framework. Notice, timelines, and the 5-day RAD routing rule must integrate into management software. Council must align with new Superior Court protocols, while existing regulations like 45-day security deposit refunds remain core baselines. Property managers must audit their daily workflows for rent collection, tenant screening, and dispute resolution to meet these 2026 standards. The 2026 Rental Act serves as a mechanism to stabilize the housing market by mandating specific procedural steps for every landlord action. In Washington, D.C.'s highly regulated market, procedural precision is now the baseline for maintaining the legal standing of the asset.